Welcome to Trading Lounge and the US tech stocks, and I want to start with the S&P. And I expected some of the markets higher, like Google and Amazon and Microsoft, but we are seeing a fair bit of strength come into the market. So on the S&P here, we've got increasing volume over the previous day here. So that tells me that the buyers are in control of the market. And currently up here, we have a nice A, B, and C correction. And within that, it's pulled back up from the top here to the bottom here. It's pulled back up, well into the supply zone, the 50-60%, and done all of that. So if it took the top out here, then we would need to look at the market being bullish at that point. This move down through here, on the S&P and the Nasdaq, we could count it as 5 waves or 3 waves, so it wasn't very helpful. On the triple Q, we could count it down more clearer on the 5-wave structure. And also on Apple, we could count it as 5 waves down at that point. But that's what I was pretty much basing the situation off, looking for an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here, and then moving up. The alternative count, of course, would be looking at this wave 4 sitting over here, and we would need to look at this as 1 and 2, and 1 and 2 here, and then continuing to build to the upside. So now, based on the volume here, we may need to do that. So we're going to have to be mindful of both sides of the market, and we should be anyway, but now we've got a bit of a bullish air. We're also seeing stocks like Tesla now having 5 waves to the upside. So I'm really sort of like switching from being bearish to bullish. It doesn't mean that we need to rush in and start buying. But what it does mean is that we need to protect our short positions. We also need to look for safe long trade setups as well. When I go down here to the E-minis here, then we can see that the E-minis, when I'll show it to you in a moment, is really testing these highs up here at the moment. So in that case, you can always find markets to do certain things, and we could look at this as an A, B, C for the A wave, and then a B wave back, and 5 waves up for a C wave. And I'll consider that, because what I'll do is that this move that's moving up here on the futures, then we'll look for 5 waves here, and then once we've got that top in play there as 5 waves, then anything above that 5 waves here, then we can look to be bullish at that point. But of course, after these 5 waves here, we'll look for a pullback and go long on the B wave at that point. So this is pretty much what we'll need to be doing with stocks. Now, each one's a little bit different. So yeah, so it's just looking bullish all over. I mean, it's the same with the Nasdaq. We'll get into all of that with the indices video, but let's cruise back into stocks. So it was Apple's 5 waves down here from the top as 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, and then all the way down to 3, 4, and 5 here for the 3rd wave, the 4th wave, and the 5th wave here. Now, I could always, remove this wave 3 and this wave 4 here and this wave 5 here, to put this down to here and push this across over to here, and that means that we could look at this as an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave down here for in 5 waves of blue here for a C wave here, and have an ABC correction here. I was always aware of that, and I have mentioned it, but the reason I didn't go with that is just that wave A doesn't have much of a relationship to wave C at this point, so it was just naturally better to count it as 5 waves to the downside. But we may need to go to that as well. I've tried to force this into 5 waves down to here, and it's quite possible, but I know that on the intraday it also counts a bit better as 5 waves to here, then a correction, then another 5 to here. So it does count better as an ABC correction. So I'm aware of that. So we could look at this bullish as well, but it's a bit of a long shot. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like I feel more comfortable with it being sort of bearish. Yeah, so we'll continue with this, but with the bearish side of it, of course. But just to point out that we may need to push it into some sort of bullish count. But to push it into a bullish count, I feel like I'd be forcing it a little bit. And that means that looking at this as 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, and 5 up here. So forcing the 5 waves up here to get the 3 waves here. So I mean, no rush to do that, but it doesn't hurt talking about these things, because when we look at some of the other markets, they're quite bullish, and quite clearly so. So let's just go to the 100 ticks here. So in this instance here, we were, I was looking at this as being 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. It's not a very nice third wave here. That's, you can kind of see that wave 1 is sharper than wave 3, but it's possible to get it like that. And, it's okay. But we do need to protect our short positions here for this. So that means we need to come up with a bit of a plan. So it's possible at the moment to have this here as wave 2 to this point. But if we do get 5 waves up here, we can also look at wave 2 being over here. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So currently, we can have that as wave 2. If that was the case, just bear with me, then this would be wave 1 down here with an A wave, a B wave, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for this C wave here. That's why I've got the C wave. And from that point, we would come down further at that point. So in the next session, we'll look for a more bearish pattern. So we could look at this here as wave 1 and 2, and 3, 4, and 5 coming down here somewhere, and then we could look for the ABC pattern here, and then look to short that. We bring this up here and look to short it here, or on the B wave here for that matter, that sort of thing. So I'll just leave this out of the way for a moment. So that's quite possible to have wave 2 sitting here with an ABC pattern just sitting into this point and then moving down from there. Okay. The other side to this is that I can count a little 5 waves here, so I could view it as wave 1, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 across to here, and then actually to here. So yeah, to here. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here for this. So I could also look at this as wave 4 pulling back to this wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here, and then looking for a move to the upside. So a move here to make wave 5 here. And that's why I have given this from this low here, looked at this as being 5 waves up, because we need to protect this position here. We have other positions further up. So as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, we can let this come up a little bit higher. Where it comes up here, I'm not quite sure. It might come up, had a target of 180, 146, or there was a gap at that point, basically. But if we do get 5 waves up here, and then that top there, then that becomes where we need to put the stop at that point. It will put this one here at a small loss, but we've got these others up here for that, so that's not too bad at this point. But we do need to protect this situation, and yeah, it could still probably even go higher up into this particular space here and be bearish as well. But I don't want to carry positions that high, at this point. I don't want to carry this one or the others. I can find a way in at that point. So yeah, there's different ways to count this particular spike here, so I won't go into that too much. But when something can be counted in different ways, it doesn't become very useful, So anyway, the main point with Apple is that it was still on the bearish side, but we have to protect our positions at this point. So we're going to wait at the 180 with the first high above the level, and then we'll see if it fades from that point. So you might, at the first instance, you might think that after 5 waves here, you're going to get an ABC pattern anyway. And then you can bring the stop down to the next level here, the next high. but they could certainly be taken out at that point. You know, that's the thing. And you could also use that as a long trade, really. So what we're looking for here is a bit of a classic trading levels pattern on the 180 to the upside. So I'll give this another session to work its way out here. But yeah, so this one still looks quite sort of bearish all in all. But we need to protect our positions there. So Amazon, was expecting it to push higher, but it's pushed dramatically higher. And that means that I need to take our alternative count on this, which is this wave 4 over here. We'll come to that in a moment, but we were looking from the top as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there was a bit of overlap in wave 4 and 1. I'm not concerned about that. And then I had this here as an A wave and a B wave. We already had 5 waves here. And then I was looking for a C wave up here. But I can see straight away that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for 1 and 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got a third wave here, and we're going to get a fourth wave. So that means that we're going to get a fifth wave here. So, you know, I could push the B wave all the way up here. I could do that, and we just leave it there. It's not going to hurt, and we'll be mindful of that. But we'll get a wave 4 at that point, and then pushing up for wave 5 at this point. And you know, wave 5 should be roughly sort of something to do with 1 here as well. So, and this may even push higher. This may even come to the, you know, to this space here. That's not a problem either. So, and this could expand out a little bit further, but certainly, you know, it's going to have a bit of problems at the old high here. So, you know, it's going to get a bit of fluff here, and then that will create that wave 4. So if you see a mess here, then you know that it's wave 4. And if it's got overlapping wave structures, you can trade that. But we'll probably have a bit of time to pick that up tomorrow. So if I go back out to the 1,000 ticks, I think it was, or it doesn't really matter. There's a few of them there somewhere. Okay, well, that's okay. So this really is the same count as, well, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq and so on. So yeah, because we've got orange wave 4 for the S&P and the Nasdaq. It's just that we thought we would have a wave 4 over here with another move down, but we're not getting that at the moment. We can see here, this is one of the stocks that you know, could continue to push higher here. Like I said, it still could be a B wave up here, but I'm just not sort of seeing that, you know, I'm not getting it. So this one over here, we had this before as wave 3 here with 5 waves for the A wave, and then an A, B, and C for the B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for the C wave for wave 4 here. And then, you know, we'll need to see this pushing up here as wave 1 and 2, and wave 3, 4, and 5 up here for this. For a larger wave 3 up here, and then a wave 4 over here for that. So I'm a bit disappointed in myself for missing this. I got sort of, anyway, I'm not going to sort of beat myself up about it, but yeah, we just got to kind of look at this across the market. We have to look at this situation across the markets now with the S&P and the Nasdaq, with wave 4 being in here rather than having some sort of A, B, C over here for the S&P and the Nasdaq. Yeah, and the E-minis is leading to the upside on that case. So as we looked at the E-minis here, with this E-minis here taking out the top here, so we have to put wave 4 in over here rather than looking at this as an ABC pattern over here, and then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5. It could still be the case, but we've got good volume and we're testing the highs on the futures market. So, you know, we need to look at this as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and building to the upside. And then when you sort of think about this being 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, then you can kind of start to see, you know, things like Amazon as 1 and 2, and a little 1 and 2 in here, and going up for a third wave. You know, they'll all be, well, some be the same, some will be a little bit different, but it's kind of that thing that's going on. So so yeah, so anyway, that's that. NVIDIA is being pretty sort of bearish. I have rearranged the count here as well, here, and we're also going to protect our short trades at this point as well here. So we can look at this. Look, I could look at this being more bearish. It's not a problem with this particular one, but I have to say, as an A wave and a B wave and a C wave down here, it's a good size. You know, there's a good correlation between wave C and wave A here. Even though the wave C is a bit bigger, there's not equality there, but it's basically, 40 or 60% bigger. So it's kind of okay for that. So yeah, so what I've done here, I've got wave 1 here with 2 here, then 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5 for the third wave, fourth wave. And, I mean, straight up here, I would, looking at this as the third wave here, I would normally just look at this as a fourth wave and have one more low coming here. So we could certainly have another low coming in here, and we'll have to bring that across at that point. But if that top gets taken out, then we want to be out of these trades here on the short side. As simple as that. And if it stays there, we'll go further down. Now I have jammed, from wave 4 here to wave 5 here. I have jammed it in here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1, ABC for 2 here, strong third wave, a little fourth wave and a fifth wave here. So I have jammed it in. And the reason I've done that for is because the fourth wave here is actually really quite big compared to the rest of this structure here. Now it could be a fourth wave, but I wouldn't want it going any higher, because then we're going to start overlapping wave 1 here. And then having support on this number here, and then making a new high here, then I definitely want to be out of it at that point, out of this trade at this point. The other thing we have to sort of be mindful here is too, along the way, is that this here is the 50-60%. Let's just assume that the market goes up for a moment. Based on this 5 waves here, we could end up having some sort of, bigger picture correction here and then down again at this point. I don't think this is the case, actually, but it's possible, and I'll be mindful of it, as always, or most of the time. And, it does make a nice ABC pattern down here. I don't like the B wave, and in fact, I don't particularly like this pattern that much at all. And if I had to sort of recount it here, which I'll just go in and share my 2 bobs worth on this, is that from here, wave 1 is good, wave 2 is good, wave 3 is good, wave 4 here is okay. This move up here, it's, it makes logical sense to put the wave 5 here, but the things that haunt me about this is that this move up here is really just in 3 waves up here. So I could look at this as 5 waves down to this point here. And the other thing that sort of bothers me about this too is that we can count this up as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. So it's more like a B wave with 5 waves. I mean, I could put this here and go an A and a B and a C, but the relationship between these is not here. So I would be more inclined to put wave 4 over here and wave 5 at this particular top here and not worry about the spike. I've seen this before. I mean, sure, wave 4 still overlaps it, as it does here as well, overlaps wave 1 there, but I can sort of work with that. But to put this count here would be, I'd start getting tomatoes thrown at me, and I can see why. But at the same time, that's a low, and there is 5 waves here. We can count 5 waves down to here. We can only count 3 waves up to here. So that's why I was saying that this move down here can be counted as 5 waves. So we'll need to be careful that when we go up here, other markets like Amazon and Microsoft can top, and this could top here as well, and then have another move down at that point. So we need to be a little bit careful with this. So because I don't know what's going on with it as such, then we will, I'll need to just take care with it. And the other side to this is maybe 1000 here. If I line this up with some of the other markets, we haven't seen them all just yet, but although I need to rearrange this here as well, make that a bit smaller. But apart from that, then looking at this way as wave 4 here, and then wave 1 here with an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. And yes, we can have one more little move down here to sort of satisfy this situation here, but like I said, I have jammed it up in here, and we can put that in here if we make another little high in here. So this is another sort of case here, but do we go long at this point? I mean, it takes a bit of intestinal fortitude to, you know, to go long at this point, but yeah, I'd need to see a nice sort of, I need to see a bigger impulse wave before I could, you know, put people into it. So we need to see something of that size at least to, you know, I mean, if that was going to push up here, it's going to hit this supply through here at 465 roughly, and then we'd look to get the pullback at that point. So we don't have to buy at the low, but yeah, that's quite possible to push up from here. But anyway, in the meantime, we need to protect positions. I would, you know, I would like to put this wave 4 here somewhere. I could put it over here. That's another place to sort of put it, but it doesn't kind of make a lot of sense. It only makes sort of sense in that because most of the markets that had their lows in October, you know, going way back over here, you know, they're all kind of, you know, in their fourth waves somewhere. That's what I'm kind of thinking, you know. That's the same with Amazon here, you know, that wave 4 here. We've got to kind of, if we're going to make new highs here and push up, I need to work this like we're doing on the S&P and the Nasdaq. We need to sort of work this wave 4 into stocks, and then then we can sort of gel them together and make them work. Anyway, in the meantime, we're going to just protect these current short positions. You know, anyway, we've had a good sort of run down there anyway. So anyway, we'll see how that plays out, and we'll try to find another way in, long or short. Who cares? So Meta Platforms here made another high. So I'll need to keep this as the A, the B, and the C for one more little high here. But anything sort of beyond this space here, then I will need to also put, I'm just going to borrow this wave 4. I'm going to have to put wave 4 in over here somewhere and look at this as 1 and 2 here and build a more bullish count up here. I mean, because when a market sits on like a major trading level like this, you know, these to me are really buying signals at this point. That's a trade setup to me here, you know, and we're not taking it. But I'll wait a session or two because I've got to get my head around certain things. But yeah, as far as the crow flies, that's this is a bit of a long trade setup going in here. So with this here, I could look at this. I can look at this as wave 1 and 2 here. So this is, you know, I can't really look at this as wave 3, 4, and 5 finishing here. I could, so that's why I just want to wait a session. So I think that it will probably push up further. So this will be, let's just borrow these here as 1 and 2 here. And this will be wave 1 and 2 here. And a little third wave. I'd have to go in there and get a bit of a closer look at that. And for, I could even, you know, I mean, I could push it up even higher for that. But, and then wave 3 here. So this is what we'll need to allow to play out. So, and then get the, just going to move these out of the way. So, yeah, I mean, I'd like to put us in long here, and you could go long. I'll leave that up. You know, if I had to have a bet, I'd rather be long than short. But yeah, I have to wait for this to play out now, this ABC pattern over here, and let it play out over here. And once this trend here is finished from 5 waves being here, then you know, then we can look at some type of corrective move to build in long at, or some, you know, something over here to build in long at this point, you know. but the risk reward factor is that's okay for day traders, but you know, so we just need to wait on this. I want to get some more information, and then we come over to Netflix. Now, we were also looking at this as 5 waves down here as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. We've got a part position here. We've got a stop above here. This counts up quite nicely here as 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the third, fourth, fifth. So really as an A and a B and a C correction, that's all pretty nice, you know. So anything above this here would actually create a long trade at this point. You know, we're talking about going short here yesterday, and we were looking for an ABC pattern here. So, you know, I wouldn't want this market to sit on top of 450 because then it would be bullish at this point. I just want to go in and have a look at this here for a moment. We're on 100 ticks, so let's just go into 10 ticks and just check on this a little bit. This is the 1, 2, and looking all the way with 3, 4, 5 here for this. Is that still doable at that point? It's not the best. I could count it down as an A and a B and a C here, but over here, this is the ABC we're looking at. So in this case here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the A wave, the B wave, and then we've got, we'll call that 1 with an A, and we'll have to go all the way here for this, and it's dropped here, so it doesn't really matter, but 1 and 2, and then looks like the third, fourth, and the fifth here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it shouldn't really go above there. So this little move here looks a little bit bullish too, doesn't it? Doesn't look like 5 waves down here either. You know, it's come down a lot, hasn't it? Do you know what I mean? If we looked at this as the A, the B, and the C here, we could put the stop here and, you know, could even go short at this point. But this little move here is looking like 5 waves. I could look at it as an A and a B and a C wave. So we really could put the stop on this little top here, you know, that shouldn't be breached. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a stop here for that. So I'm just going to go back to the 100. I'm probably sort of getting too close. I'm probably panicking. I always panic about these things, you know. But I'm going to put that stop there because we've got half a position there. Half a position, a third of a position, a quarter of a position. And yeah, so at least a small loss is a good loss. And yeah, I don't want to go long here because if we're going to go long here, then first of all, we want to prove that we're actually going above this top here. And if we were going to go above the top here, we would need, this would be the arrival, the reaction. We'll need the first high above the level. And then we'd be looking to go long over here somewhere. Yeah, so I've had this as an alternative 4 here. I can't remember the bigger count on this, but that would be it there. So we'd need to look at this as, I'll give this some thought, but there's definitely a nice, clean, clear 5 wave structure there. I don't see any issues with that. So, yeah, but there we go. So we'll probably need to start looking at this as wave 1 up here, if that's breached here. Not so much any of this in here, but this top here. So we'll see how that goes. We're just preparing, that's all. We're just looking at the other side. Don't need these. So with Alphabet here, there's no real change here because we've had this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for a long time. But it is interesting in that what happens when this 5 waves finishes here. So we've got 1 and 2 here, and then I'm assuming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this. Not too bad. I'll double check it a bit later. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So we want to make a top above here, and we also want to make a top above here. So I can see this is 1, 2, 3, 4 here, but it's still going to, even if it does give us a small wave here, it's a little bit pokey, a little bit small for this. I mean, we could if the market's going to be more bullish, that's what I'm trying to figure out. You know, this wave 4 overlaps this one. So this could be wave 1 and 2. and then 1 and 2 again here, and then 1 and 2 coming back in a strong push to the upside. So that's why we need to understand these 5 waves here. So with this here, once those 5 waves come in, we'll just do a little bit more work. We'll just wait for a little bit here. But if this is going to push up, we'll get on it. Okay, that's the main point. So it's either going to get to here and fail, or it's going to, have a smaller correction and push up. So we'll get to that. That's okay. This is in the communication sector. So this here is the communication sector. We don't often look at this, but I do keep it in the background. Alessio is going to do these sorts of things on the new site. I don't know if he's going to do this one, so I'll keep an eye on it. But, in a nutshell, we've been up here at the 50-60% area here, roughly speaking. I'll need to double check that. So I've been looking it up here as 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here in line with the S&P and the Nasdaq, and then looking at this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave and the 4th wave here. So yeah, I didn't really get 5 waves down here for this. Possible. So this would be this one here. So what we're actually looking at here with this sector here is possible 1 and 2 here, and 3, 4, 5 pushing up here. So we could see, because Google's got quite a big chunk of this market, I could still have wave C sitting over here for this as well, have a top in there as well. So it's not, I don't think that we're in a bearish situation, but you never know. It's just good to keep an idea on both accounts. It doesn't hurt. And but that's where we are. So we could probably put this wave 4 in here at this stage. So we'll just keep an eye on Google in that and that sector. Okay, so nothing to do there. And Microsoft, so we're expecting Microsoft to move up, and it's got the same pattern as one of the other stocks, which was that, was it Facebook? Yeah, this little move here, this, and all of this here is the same as this market here, this, and that little sharp jump here and here. So between Facebook and Microsoft here, we'll figure out the count. They'll both be the same. But like I said with the other market, I don't want to put wave 3 here. It's probably doable, and then wave 5 would have to be much smaller in here for this, which is possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So it's possible to shorten all of that up here, but at the same time, we could extend this up here as well without any issues, of being wave 1 here and 2 in here, and continuing to build that. So I don't know if we're going to have a short ending here, or we need to extend it up higher in this case. So we'll see about that. But yeah, we've had this big move down through to here, which may be enough as well for that. So, we may end up having to rework this as well and look at this as wave 1 up here, but I can't do that just yet, and I don't want to go long and I don't want to go short. I just have to just chill on this for a moment and get our bearings on it a bit. Okay, so over to Tesla. This is the interesting one. So we had this move down through here, right? And this area in here around the 250 or just above it was the 50-60% retracement level area. And we had this as the A, the B, and the C wave here. And we're looking from further downside. Now we could view this down here as 5 waves. So I thought, well, that looks good. We could work with that. We'll wait for some type of, for it to let go of this market here, of this number. But it's popped up here, so that straight away gives us 5 waves to the upside with 1 and 2 and 3. And because that's in 5 waves here, I'm going to put wave 4 over here, but I try to put it over here, but I'm just getting 5 waves down here, so I have to put it over here. But we need to be mindful that this could be wave 1 here with an ABC pattern here as well. So a little bit of a thing here. We had the same issue over here as well with that because of the spike spikes in the market. But in the meantime, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up here. And here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I'd probably need to just double check on that. I'm not going to really worry about it. So we're at the top of this one here, but we may have to include this one here. I mean, it does make a nice ABC pattern to this point. So probably some little tricky correction in here. I'm not sure if I need to take that low, but that seems to be 1 ABC for 2 and 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 1 and 2, and maybe I could push the third wave to this point. Anyway, a bit hard to see in these gappy areas. So, but it doesn't really matter what my plan was here. We'll look at the bigger picture in a moment on this, but my plan was that because of this 5-wave structure here, I don't know if the top's going to be here or we're going to push up a little bit further based on this one. But in a way, it doesn't really matter, because what will happen at some point, there's going to be some sort of ABC pattern coming back here. Now, what could happen is we could end up here for that, and then the ABC pattern coming back, and then pushing up. But or it could be here. You know, whenever it happens, that's what we need to wait for, and that's how we'll get into this 5 waves here. Then we can push up further at that point. So we can look at this here in a couple of different ways, but we have to look at it based on that 5 waves. We have to look at the market being bullish for this. So let me just have a little look here. 20. So I could put it. There's a couple of ways to count all of this, by the by, and this here I kind of like, because once again it puts it in line with the other markets, and not breaking any rules at this stage with anything. I just want to check the size of this, roughly speaking. So we've got wave 1 that's longer, so we'll need a shorter wave 3 here in this case. Oh no, wave 3 will be fine. No, we'll beat that. Yeah, no, sorry, I lost the plot. Sorry. Yeah, no, all that's going to be, it should be fine. So basically this little move here, we're looking at this being wave 1 up here, and then back for wave 2, 3, 4, 5. So this to me is bullish, you know. We can look at it differently as well. I'll just have a look at what I've got on the 1,000 ticks. Oh, I haven't done anything there for a while. What about 10,000 ticks? Okay, this was the other count here. So we could view this as wave 1 and 2, which would be right. And then we could look at this as wave 1 and 2 here. And then this would be wave 3 going up here. So we can have it as wave 2 or 4, but either way it needs to push higher. From this top here to this bottom here, where we've already hit the 61.8%, and we're reacting from this. You know, one of my things with this market is that, you know, that this is one of the reasons that I'm bullish in the markets, because all of this here, this is not a bearish pattern. This is all corrective pattern in here. So this is corrective. So we'll be taking that top out in due course. You know, we'll be way up here somewhere with this. You know, that's the way I figured it, based on that. So it's just how we label this as wave 2 or 4 here. I'm not sure. I mean, it's pulled quite deeply back for wave 2 at 6, you know, close to the 50-60%. So a bit much for a wave 4. So yeah. We'll see how this moves. I mean, if this is 1 and 2, by the way, and 1 and 2 here, then this one here is really going to fly here. So that's something we'll keep a bit of an eye on. But yeah, so this would be Tesla would be the go. Okay, sorry to ramble on so long, but I needed to, just to clarify in my own mind if that's anything. So basically, it does appear that there's a fair bit of bullishness coming into the market. Not just the fact that the market is up, it's the S&P is up on higher volume, and we're seeing some stocks like Tesla offering 5 waves off their current lows. So, you know, I think we need to sort of run with that. Okay, alrighty, cheers.